Hello and welcome. You have found your way into another Shift Series interview, and I can barely keep my smile down because I'm so excited about this interview. We are joined again by Robin Ray Green. It has been a very long time since we sat down together in front of the camera to do an interview. So I'm not only just super jazzed to be here together again, but also because this is a very exciting time in the realm of Robin Ray Green. There's been a lot of change in your world, a lot of amazing opportunities that have now actually transpired, and you are holding a book in your possession now, and I hope to be holding one too. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for bringing your light back to the Shift Series, and welcome.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm so happy to be back and to be sharing my book, Heal Your Child from the Inside Out.
Do you have it with you?
I do. I have it right here. Heal Your Child from the Inside Out, the 5-element way to nurturing healthy, happy kids. And it's just a pleasure to really be sharing this book with so many people.
What a treat. I mean, just to see you with it there in your hands, knowing my copy will be in my hands soon. Robin, your work has been just transformational for me and my family and my kids from the first moment. So some of you who've been following us for a while may know that Robin and I met through entrepreneur circles and through health and wellness online. And I really had some breakthroughs with my family from the very first moments I got to hear you talk about your approach and your lessons learned with your own family, and then how you brought that forward in your pediatric acupuncture practice, and eventually also in training other acupuncturists how to work with children and families. Will you tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to be doing what you're doing now?
Of course. So after I graduated from acupuncture school, I had my first child, and he, as an infant, had a severe case of eczema that Western medicine was unable to help. And I went to doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, and at the end of the day, I was basically told, well, here's some creams, and, he's just going to have to outgrow it, and we'll just wait and see what happens. And as a mom watching her child suffer every day, that was just not an option for me to just wait and see what happened. I wanted to take an active role in his healing process.
Right.
So at that time, I just was on a single-minded mission to help my son. And so I took every pediatric and herbal training I could in order to help him. And along the journey, I learned so much about how many children are also affected by chronic inflammatory issues like asthma, allergies, and eczema, and how many kids really need help, and Western medicine is unable to help them. And, there's nothing wrong with managing the symptoms, but ultimately, I think most parents want to find the root of the issue and heal that so that the issue can go away altogether. And as I shared my son's story with my patients, eventually that spawned into my pediatric practice, and I was able to help many, many more kids in my local community.
It's amazing. And for those who aren't familiar with eczema, I just want to say that it's a skin condition, but what's really, I think, important about this story is it's one of those things where if you walk into your doctor's office to talk about your child with eczema, to the pediatrician, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a skin thing. Just put this cream on it. And the reality, like you said, of this inner drive as mamas to get to the root of the issue is the thing that's universal across all moms. So you might not be a mom who has come in to had to deal with eczema, but almost all of us at one time or another are dealing with allergies or a sensitivity or asthma or chronic ear infections, and these things that so easily begin to get dismissed in the average pediatrician's office as being, not a big deal or just part of childhood. But as parents, we feel that there's something more. We feel that we want to get to the root cause, because in the moment, they are causing suffering for our child, loss of sleep for the child, sometimes definitely for the mama. And so we kind of create this pattern of chronic symptoms in our children, but also kind of a chronic unwellness in the entire family. And that then can get perpetuated if you're not able to get to the root cause.
Exactly. And that's what I call it, the unwellness gap, when children aren't totally well. They have some kind of low grade chronic issue that comes and goes, or is maybe there all the time. but they're not healthy and vibrant and symptom free, and they're not thriving in the way we would want our children to be, and they fall into what I call the unwellness gap. And there's not much that Western medicine can do for kids in the unwellness gap. And I am a full supporter of using Western medicine. I believe the right medicine for the right job. But when things are just being managed, when the symptoms are being managed, that means that as parents, we have to take it upon ourselves to heal our child and to figure out, what do we need to do? What are the right steps for our child in order to help them heal? And there are definitely going to be some similarities on that path, no matter what a child has got going on.
Absolutely. From the first moment you used that phrase, the unwellness gap, I felt this intuitive feeling in me. One, this is important. Listen, like this speaks to what I have been experiencing and what I see so many other families experiencing. But then as I learned the definition and I understood your approach to looking at health and wellness in the family, it also, it granted me permission to not settle. To not just settle for this gap between illness and thriving, and to grant my entire family position to say, no, we have the right to work through this in a way that every child, every one of us in this family can achieve their own personal health best and return to thriving. So for me, that phrase was hugely empowering, and I know it will land for our audience as well. But walk us through a little bit. What are some of the steps we can take to claim that for ourselves and to not settle to live long-term in this unwellness gap?
Well, I think first of all, it's really important to understand who your child is. And in the book, I talk about the 5 element system. And the 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And they represent a system of correspondences that allow us to understand certain temperament styles and personality types, various physiological functions, parts of the anatomy, and even certain emotions. And so once we understand who our children are on a much deeper level, we can see where we can bring in support. And then second to that, we need to understand what imbalances that are going on in their body. And this is where Chinese medicine really does a good job at helping us understand things from a different perspective. So like a doctor may not know the underlying root cause of eczema, but in Chinese medicine, we can see what it is. We can find those underlying root causes. And then once you know those 2 things, then you can start building your own unique wellness wheel that's going to help your unique child with their particular situation. And once you have that information, it's so empowering because the next steps just sort of like begin to make sense, and you know what you need to do, and you can start with the easiest things and take those little steps to start on the journey and know that you're not alone because so many other people are on it with you.
Absolutely. It is so reassuring. I feel like that's the next step after claiming that permission to not settle is you're not alone.
Yes.
Tell us a little more about the wellness wheel.
So the wellness wheel I love it because it's so, in Chinese medicine, the 5 elements are a wheel. They are in a circle of nurturing one another. And I like the idea of the wellness wheel because it allows us to enter at any point. It's not a linear step 1, steps 2, step 3. It's like, okay, so what do we have on our wellness wheel? We've got elemental parenting, and that's that piece where we understand our child. We are conscious about who they are and what their particular needs are, and we do a lot of honoring with elemental parenting, honoring our children, honoring who we are, honoring our values as a family, and not doing it necessarily the way everybody else does. Right. Finding our own way. And then we also, to address particular symptoms, we're going to want to add in things like natural remedies and herbs and homeopathics and some supplements, maybe some vitamins. It's going to depend on, what's going on with the child. We need to make sure that we look at the home, like what's happening with toxins, things that we're bringing in that we may not even think about, like, dryer sheets and stuffed animals and things like that could trigger an asthma attack for some kids. Certain cleaning products can trigger an asthma attack. So we have to look at the health of our home. We need to look at bringing in things like acupressure and massage. Really, really powerful tools that parents, all you need is your hands. That's it. And your loving touch. and it's something that you can bring in, and it's so super easy to do. And then, nutrition and healthy eating and healthy guts. Those are the really other big, big keys for kids. Because how can we expect our children to grow healthy bodies if they don't have adequate nutrition?
Yeah, absolutely. So just getting a sense of this wheel and getting this language and this kind of container for how to conceptualize the wellness of your child seems like the first step then. Are you finding that that piece is something parents are feeling empowered to do? I know it's the area for me and my family that I've struggled with the most.
I feel like there's so much research and press and attention being brought to gut health right now. It's something we can't ignore it any longer. Both the things that we can do to help our children have healthy guts and, repair them if they're out of balance. And then also this whole food piece. It's so, so big. And it's only one chapter in the book, but it really, that piece alone could be an entire book, just talking about food and how to help, our kids eat healthy.
I know. I'm taking notes here as a mama and as a facilitator of the interview, and I'm already thinking, I think I've heard the next 2 books that I want to buy from you, Robin. I want to hear about elemental parenting, and I want the healthy gut book, please. So you really did come up through your own parenting journey, an in-person practice where you serve families and work with children every day, where you've then spent years dedicated to helping other practitioners learn what you know. And now you've wrapped all of that into this book and this ability for us as parents to bring your teachings into the home. Tell us a little bit how it all came to be in the book and the approach you took with the book.
Well, this is the book I wish I'd had when Noah's eczema was at its worst, because I felt really alone and afraid and basically a little bit blown off by my doctor of like, it's just like we talked about that earlier. It's just, it's like no big deal. It's just so many kids have it. And I was like, I don't even know where to begin. So with this book, this is like me going back and saying, if I could do my journey again, this is what I would do. I would figure out who my child is as a unique person and not take a one-size-fits-all approach. And then I would understand what imbalances they have. And then I would look at, okay, here's the different things, the elemental parenting, the healthy guts, the acupressure and massage and natural remedies. And I would just start one by one going through what is the easiest thing I can do. And it started with massage. It was the easiest thing to do. And then it was, we got a little more advanced. Let's try gluten-free and dairy-free. Let's try, and I actually created in the book a template to help parents as they go through each chapter to write down, like when you're reading something and you have that aha moment, oh my gosh, I totally need to try getting them off of gluten and dairy. And you can start writing that down in your template. It doesn't mean you have to do it tomorrow, but it's the place to start creating your own healing program based on your child, but also where you as a parent are at. If you have your own health issues, if you are really exhausted and tired and have 4 other children that you're having to help and care for as well, it's going to be maybe a little bit slower than if this is your only child and you're in your home all the time with them. So we have to give ourselves the steps and lay them out in a way that's workable for us. And that's what the healing template is meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so exciting. So I want to take it a little bit deeper for this audience, because I know that this audience in particular has been on a healing journey. They're in general people who have experienced their own health challenges within the family, and there's an awareness that there's a spiritual component to what's going on with us when we're navigating health issues. And I feel like there's a spiritual component to the unwellness gap too. Do you have thoughts about what that might be and what our children are asking of us and bringing forward?
Yes, this almost makes me want to cry when I talk about it, because it's so powerful that our kids are coming through and these things are happening, because I truly believe this is our wake-up call. Yeah. I wasn't aware of so many different things about our environment and our food until my son's eczema. So I feel like on so many levels, it's a wake-up call. It allows us to to improve ourselves, to improve our family, and to get on the right path for the overall health and wellness. And I really feel like it's an opportunity. I look at there's so much medicine in the journey itself, and that the illness is actually telling you what needs to be healed on like a I can't talk, a mind, body, and spirit level. It's showing us what needs to be healed. And for a lot of us, we become the messengers then of this new way of being, this new consciousness about our health with our friends and our family and the people that we run into. And we begin to we're making massive changes as we become more aware of what's gone wrong that has made our children so sick.
And I agree with all of that. And I feel like the children respond so quickly as soon as we start having these kinds of conversations. Because if the eczema or the allergy or the whatever it is, fill in the blank, is part of the wake-up call, as we awaken together as a family, the symptoms can kind of start to settle a little. And not to say that, it doesn't make sense to do the massage or to make the dietary changes, but it's like once the family starts to be connecting in this way, it seems like we start to see progress. Do you see that as well?
I do. And I think a lot of that comes from when we love our children so much. And that has this also thing when our children are unwell and we become fearful. We doubt our decisions. We second guess ourselves. We wonder, we worry, and we have a lot of fear. And when we are in that state of worry and fear, we can't see the solutions. And part of it is like trusting that you will figure it out, trusting that your child's body can heal, trusting that there is oftentimes a much deeper meaning for this illness than you can even imagine in the moment when you're going through it. And it's only in hindsight that you can understand why this happened and all the wonderful and beautiful things it actually brought into your life.
Absolutely. I think of that a lot with fevers and talking to moms about fevers in their child and how, well-intentioned, but in Western medicine, they would have you believe that the fever is the enemy and doing anything that you can to make the fever go away. But as you step into the world and as those watching the interview find their way into your communities and on your list and definitely into the book, you find that the body is an ally, and what's going on is trying to tell you something and is there for a reason. And especially in my children, looking back at years of early on high fevers makes so much more sense now that we know about their Lyme disease and bacteria levels. And here the body was trying to get our attention and show us exactly what was going on. Hey, there's an infection we're dealing with here. So I really do. I think the body is one of our greatest teachers. But back to your point about fear and doubt, because you really address that head on even with the title of the book. You offer a big permission to parents, even in right there on the cover jacket, to say, you can have a role in this. And not only that, claim that role, and I'm going to help you do that. But I imagine there's a lot of resistance. Talk to me a little bit about your dance around empowering parents to claim a role in healing their children.
Well, I think that so often when parents have gone down the path and seen all the specialists and they wind up at my office and they're just like this is the last resort. They don't know what else to do. There is a whole emotional toll that comes with that.
Yeah.
I feel like when I can help someone see what's right with their child, like, yes, they have this problem, but in Western, when you've gone to that many doctors, all we're focusing on is the problem. All we can see is the problem. All we can see is a future with this problem. That's it. And so I really feel like I wanted to empower people to switch it and see, like, your child is like wonderful and beautiful and developing normally and happy, and he loves you and you love him, and oh my gosh, everything is so good, except yes, you have this problem. That's like the thing. That's the one thing. The rest is also good, and we have to flip it and find that love and that trust. And I swear when that happens, that's when things open up. And with my own story, I was determined to figure Noah's issue out, and I was really empowered. And there was the very first pediatric acupuncture training was at a convention, And I went to it and I sat next to who would become our pediatrician, Dr. Elisa Song. We sat next to each other. We instantly struck up a conversation. We ended up becoming good friends. And then I brought, Noah and Nate in to see her. And I feel like that was the shift that happened after I released all my fear and doubt and was just like, we're going to figure it out. I just have to trust that somehow, some way I'll find the right doctor. And I ended up sitting next to her. So you just got to trust. Just trust.
Well, and what you're describing on a personal level is very much what happens for those of us who have come into contact with your work and with your community as you start to experience this sense of harmony in the physical self. As a mama, I felt a lot more harmony. I felt more empowered. And then of course that harmony ripples out from the mama through the household into the kids. So I can't thank you enough for the work that you do in the world. I know we touched on a lot during our time talking today, everything from, this experience of having this delta from where we are to where we know our kids could be in their health, to thinking about this entire wheel and how anywhere on the wheel you could start to make small changes, and on through to the book and the ways in which we can support our kids to go into that deeper healing. But if someone's feeling maybe overwhelmed by that or not exactly sure where to begin or where to start, what's one thing that anyone could do from wherever they are with whatever resources they have to start to move to close this unwellness gap?
I think they should absolutely start by understanding their child's 5-element type. I really feel like once you understand that, so much information is opened up to you, and then the next steps become much more clear. Yeah, I think, and where you can find that questionnaire, you can go to my website at robinraygreen.com, and I have the questionnaire there that you can take. And in addition, there you can go to robinraygreen.com/book, and that's all the information on my book. And for those that order the book, I do have 3 free gifts for them that they will have, including all the questionnaires and everything in the book, and an acupressure guide. And it's just a fantastic resource.
Excellent. And, I want to stress this point. One of the things that was most confusing to me actually was the catalyst for me creating Chronic Wellness Tracker, and really led me to having conversations with experts like you, was the fact that even within my own house under one roof, a single treatment did not work the same way for all of us. That one of my children responded really well to this type of diet, but the other one didn't. This one could tolerate this kind of medication or treatment or supplement, but the other one couldn't. Everyone was so unique. And what I love about your approach to understanding the individual child better is it explains that phenomenon, that there isn't a single thing that causes the same result in every child.
Exactly.
Yes, that's I really want to encourage everyone to head over and to do that quiz. Maybe we can even have a follow-on conversation someday where we'll go deeper into those types. I think that would be really helpful.
I would love it. And I'd also like to invite all of the viewers to my special Heal Your Child from the Inside Out Facebook group, which is a place where people can come to discuss their child's 5-element type and get support in the next steps for their child's healing journey, and just be supported. Every Friday we do Cyber Hug Friday, and it's just a time for parents to come and just feel loved and supported, and just to find a group of like-minded parents that are on the same journey that you're on.
Absolutely. Remember that you are not alone. Well, you have done such a wonderful job of helping no mama feel left behind or alone, and opening up your arms so wide, not only in training practitioners who are now out in their communities serving families, but now creating this book and these resources that every single household needs and should bring in I honestly believe the children are calling this in and calling you in. So thank you again so much for your time today. I want to encourage everyone. Tell us again the best places to find you, your website and your Facebook group name.
Yes. Okay. So my website is robinraygreen.com, and they can find the book there. There's a link for it right on the homepage. And then on the Facebook group, if you just search for Heal Your Child from the Inside Out, you'll see the official Facebook group. And you can also connect with me. I post a lot of tips and inspirational messages on my Facebook page at author Robin Ray Green.
Awesome. All right. Well, I want to encourage everyone, take these steps, change your life, actually bring in the support and the community by joining the Facebook group, and start to bring that kind of ease and grace and magic into your home. Robin, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay. It's been great.
And a treat. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming to this Shift Series interview. I'm going to be sharing pictures of my copies and sharing it with my tribes as well. So when you get your copy of Robin's book, share it with us and tag us both so we can cheer you on and we can all be a part of that community together. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will see you online. Take care.